I'm from KCMO. Grew up in that 51st Street area. We all the way across that thing. When I say 51st Street, I'm talking about from Paseo all the way across to Swope Park. It was hectic growing up back in them days. I come up in that late 80s era, so, we survived that crack epidemic. My grandma had 15 kids on Bell Founds. All my cousins and stuff. It was like a party for us over there. When I look back at all the fun I thought was fun that I was having, the stuff you experiencing and seeing in them crack houses, and, in that neighborhood, with gangs, I realized that, some of those things played a vital part on my mentality, getting suspended, got caught with a weapon outside of school, went to a juvenile. The first time I rolled some dice, I was like 8 years old. My pops had me roll the dice for me. He out there shooting dice on the block, and I walked up. He told me to shoot, and I rolled 7, man. From that moment on, champ, it's been a story.
How old was you when you got your first set of dice?
14, 15. Brand new. Hunter spoke 15, 7 from high school, man, pulling up in Southeast. My stepmom, Mary, put me in Grandview. Man, I go in this school, got the Chevy, Days and Vogues. I'm bagging up in the parking lot, puffing on my backwood. I look back up, it's a Grandview PD in front of the car. Talking about, do you go here? Yeah. Went to Grandview probably about 4 days. Went on back down to Southeast, man, with them hoodlums.
Yo. Welcome to Scheme Heem TV. Got a special one for y'all today. Got the homie Steve Wright, a.k.a. Moody.
What it look like?
You already know, so we gonna shoot through my man's story. You know what I mean? We got a series coming on. We gonna have more episodes, but we gonna kick this one off like this and let the people who don't know a little bit more about him. So let's kind of rewind it back, let everybody know where you from who don't know.
I'm from KCMO. Grew up in that 51st Street area.
51st and what?
Well, my grandma moved on Bell Found in like 64, right? But, we all the way through it. We all the way across that thing. When I say 51st Street, I'm talking about from Paseo all the way across to Swope Park.
So what was it like coming up back then in the household? Was mom and pops there?
No, pops was there briefly, but he ended up having to do a little stretch. But, the household, it was hectic growing up back in them days. I come up in that middle 80s, late 80s era. So, me and my family, we survived that crack epidemic. We survived that thing. There was plenty of turbulence back then.
What was mom's doing for work?
Mom, she the main survivor of that era. She the main survivor of it. Those experiences, back in that 80s era that, most of our parents experienced, them drugs and, all the things that came with it back then. When that thing hit the ground, man, I was one of them kids, that they got a chance to experience and see the parents falling victim to that monster, man. So me and my big sister, we was right there, and one under me, we was right there the whole trip.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
Well, it's 8 of us now, right? I was the only boy forever, right? But I got a baby brother, man. Yeah, I got a baby brother, so it's 2 boys, man. The rest of them is girls.
Straight up. So what was it like coming up in the hood back then?
Man, listen, for me, it was fun, because my grandma had 15 kids on Bell. She had 15 kids, all her kids on Bell Found. So all my cousins and stuff, it was like a party for us over there. But when I look back at all the fun I thought was fun that I was having, stuff I was doing, it was kind of like, man, that was kind of crazy. Some of the, as a kid, the stuff you experiencing and seeing in them crack houses, and in that neighborhood, with gangs and. I was one of them kids that was able to sneak out and walk around the house or hang with older people, because older people seemed to always have gravitated to me when I was young. So I was able to do stuff a lot of like my other little cousins probably couldn't do around my age. So I got a chance to see and experience some of those things, which was intriguing. But at the end of the day, I realized that some of those things had played a vital part on my mentality. As I got older and my views in life. At those times, right? But yeah, it was a lot going on, man.
So
the 90s era, early 90s, yeah, it was a lot going on.
So what about when Pops went down? Did he go to state or the feds?
State. He went to the state, yo.
You ever go visit him?
Yeah, I went to visit Pops, man. Yeah, I went to visit Pops a few times. Yeah, I went to visit him, and I wrote him. That was like a real blow. It was like a real blow to my foundation because as a boy, your Pops, that's your hero. And for me, my pops, that was my main man. I've been the block with him. I've been the corner with my pops a few times, hang out. He taking me with him. So at that age, when he separate from the house, man, that's You got to deal with that. That's you know I'm resilient. You know kids are resilient, but you know deep down inside, man, you want your pops.
So on a school tip, where was you going to school at back then?
My first school was Blenheim. We moved with my grandma on 72nd and Olive back in like 80. I think that was like 85, 86, right? 87 around that time. I went to Blenheim from kindergarten first. That was my first school right there, and then I went to we moved back on Bell Fountain. I started going to Merrill Harmon Weeks, on Indiana. There, I would graduate from Merrill Harmon Weeks. Merrill Weeks was cool, and you know from there, man, I went to so many middle schools because I went to Bingham 6th grade. I got held back. Then when I got held back, I went to Central, and that was like Central was off the chain. I'm talking about for middle school. Central was off the chain, so I wasn't on nothing up there. I'm talking about I wasn't on far as education, doing something like that. Man, I wasn't on nothing. I was just going through the motions up there, hanging out, doing a bunch of kid wild stuff, and getting suspended. Got caught with a weapon outside of school. Went to the little juvenile thing, and my family came and got me.
How you get caught with the woo-wop?
Man, outside of Central, walking down the street with a couple of little dudes I was actually cool with at that time, showing it off. And my luck was so bad, right? The police turned the corner. I didn't let one go. Police turned the corner and run me down. Yeah.
Tripping.
Yeah, I'm talking about out of pocket. I was out of pocket then.
So what about the sports tip? Was you mess with the sports back then?
Yeah, always. My whole family of athletes. My mama, my mama pops was a legend in the city for boxing. Vincent Smalls. You go through the archives, you see Vincent Smalls. He was like him. He was like him back then. Actually, I just was in the spot a couple years ago with a brother from the city, right? He an old dinosaur. He been gone 50 years, right? Aaron Kelly. He when I met him, and I was telling him who, the line, right, the lineage. He was blown away. He like, man, that's your grandpa. He was like, oh man, he on the phone calling old people. Like, man, you telling me all kind of stories, right? But I always heard stories about my grandpa, right? Mm-hmm. But he died real young from cirrhosis of the liver. So, unfortunately, I ain't never get a chance to meet him. And I actually believe that, things would have turned out a whole lot different for me if my grandpa hadn't passed. Then on my pop side, everybody over there played basketball, football, everything. That's the block right there. We all play everything over there. So I actually got a chance to play high school ball at Southeast in my freshman year.
How old was you when you first started getting on them dice?
The first time I rolled some dice, I was like 8 years old. My pops had me roll the dice for me out there shooting dice on the block, and I walked up. He told me to shoot them, and I rolled 7. Man, I'm talking about, and from that moment on, champ, it's been a story.
Straight up.
But it's been a story of glory.
Was you shooting in middle school and all that, having dice games in the bathrooms and all that shit?
Yeah, that's a city thing for real. We in all the bathrooms, and when I got to Southeast in high school, it wasn't a staircase in there where dudes wasn't shooting dice in. So that was like a tradition, shooting dice in school and on the block and all that. Yeah, that was a thing.
So was you hitting for good money?
Nah, it depends. See, now growing up, it was petty dice games. But as you get older.
How old was you when you first started stinging them? Like, shit, I could go buy me some Daytons with this.
Man, 14, 15.
Straight up.
Yeah. I'm talking about 14, 15. When we getting down and dirty now.
How old was you when you got your first set of Daytons?
14, 15. Brand new. Hunter spoke 15-7 on that 79 Grand Prix for high school, man, pulling up in Southeast.
Where you get the rims from?
Remember One Way over there off of by LC's?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people probably won't remember One Way right there across from LC. I wonder what happened to main man, but yeah, right there, brand new. Hunter spoke, brand new.
That was your first car?
Nah, my first car actually was a Camaro. Yeah, I had a black Camaro with T-tops. Yeah, my first car in high school.
How old was you?
I think I may have just turned 15, or I was about to turn 15. I was so young, they banned me from parking the car in the school parking lot. You
ain't had no L's and none of that.
Nah, and I had a nerve to be burning rubber.
So what about your grill? Where you go to? Myers back in the day?
I actually went to Myers the last time. The first time I got my grill, I went to 71st and Cleveland. You was that lady, that black lady on 71st and Cleveland?
I ain't hear about her.
Yeah, she was official right there across from Good to Go, like a little house building type dental place. Yeah, and she official too. Yeah, I went there the first couple times actually.
What you have at first? Just some golds. You ain't had no diamonds at first.
Yeah, just the cursive, the cursive S.
How old was you?
I was 14. Then I went and got the 3 with the diamonds. I went and got 4. You redo them. As you get older, you redo them.
Who was you having set your diamonds?
Man, I went to this spot downtown. First, I was playing, right? I went to this spot downtown, and the jeweler down there set some diamonds in there. He was playing though, right? So I ended up getting it redone. Then I went to 10th Street over in Kansas.
Yeah, that's where everybody was going.
Yeah, those brothers over there official. Yeah, they official. I went over there actually right before I got discharged, like a day before they got something done, right? So I was fresh out the press. I got locked right up when I finished it, right?
Shoot me through the high school years now. Did you graduate?
No, sir. High school was fun, man. It was just, it was just grinding and pulling up. Mess with the girls and do that type of thing. Smoke. But let's go back to the Grand Prix though, right? 'Cause I was still in high school. That was my first, that was my pride and joy, the Grand Prix, right? So I put that thing together, pulled up at school.
So you ain't put the Camaro together. The Camaro, that was just like the Grand Prix was the one you put some money in and had some work done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the engine, at the shop with the engine, my Uncle Barry and them shot. Yeah, I did all that there. So I put the feet on there. I pulled up at school. I'm striking, and I'm getting the responses I want to. So when I'm leaving school one day, I'm coming down Prospect, right in front of Research, with the helicopter land thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I didn't look down, right? We can't do a lot. I didn't look down. Man, the funny papers, man. I'm talking about the lady stopped in front of me to turn to Research. I'm on her back seat, man. Man, I'm talking about.
Totally.
Man, it took everything in me not to cry, man. Total. It's over with. It's over with. That was, yeah. So you bought that up, throw that in the trash. So I pull up on my cousin at the shop. My cousin Jay had a shop. He got a black on black Broham with smoke gray interiors. I'm talking about immaculate European lights. So, I grabbed that and put feet on that and come back. I was having a little fun, through the course of high school. Then I bought a bubble back SS. This back when, it wasn't nothing but I think my cousin was the first one with it. Then, dudes started eventually getting it, but I ended up buying his when it wasn't nothing but probably 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Got that, did my thing with that, put some 17 nines on that.
You had engines and everything? Engine work done?
Yeah, I had and the SS, I was racing that at the track in Raytown. They said it's not there no more, but we used to drive up to the track in Raytown and race. But I had an engine with the nitrous button on it and everything, 17 nines on it, T-tops. Yeah, I was doing a little something for a kid anyway. Yeah, I was having a little fun for a kid, but that was the whole reason for it. Was for school and the girls and stuff, stuff like that when you're young. Because in school, I really wasn't there mentally. I wasn't seeking no education. At that time, I was kind of like I veered all the way like full steam into the street code, the street way of living. You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't about $1, it really. I wasn't really too enthused, so school, I was just going there, talking to girls and passing time.
Besides the situation with you getting caught up with your pepper at Central or whatever, you ever have to go to Juvenile, like stay for some days, some weeks?
Nah, I actually did, right? I went to a place called Crenton, man, when I was like, I forgot how old I was. I was young, I probably had to be like 12. Yeah, I got, matter of fact, it was actually kind of like toward that time when I got caught with the pepper essential, like maybe a year or so later. I had got in some trouble, right? And I ended up going to a place called Crenton, way in South Kansas City. Yep. Then I ended up staying out there probably about 6 months. Got out, and then I was doing cool. My pops and stuff was home, so he had came home from the joint. So that's how I got into basketball and sports, and it's kind of like trying to do that, right? But I think by that time my thought process was already distorted. So when the opportunity presented itself, then I went to doing other things. But I ended up getting certified and everything as an adult when I was like 15, 16. So it was like a hell of a thing. I actually told the course to certify me though, because it was like I felt like I was like grown. You know, I had my own car, my own money. You know, I had a lawyer.
Yeah, you wanted to get certified so you can bond out now. That's what you
Yeah.
think. That's what you think
Man,
back then.
who you telling?
Yeah.
They got me in here at the detention center talking about they want to send me to McCune and all. I'm like, no, the juvenile system don't have nothing to offer me. I'm trying to bond out of jail and go home now. And that was my only outlet to doing that. My pops, he didn't really agree with that decision. And he expressed that in the courtroom, right? But they took my side.
What type of case was that?
It was like some weapon, like a break-in. It was like some stuff like that, some minor stuff. But I had been in trouble, and the lady was saying, based on the trouble that I had been in, you know, with guns and stuff like that, that it was I didn't need to go through that no more. I had went through Crenton, you know what I'm saying? I went through, you know, family. I had went through family things already, you know, as far as with my mother and my father and all that. And I had went through the what's that? You know, when you the CABIS warrant and all that stuff, right? You know, when they put the warrant out to find you and all that. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. But they was looking at it more so. The lady anyway, she looking at it more so. It's like, we don't want him over here. This system's not gonna do nothing for him. But at the end of the day, that's how they always think. They always want the harshest penalty. But my immature mind, all I could think of was getting out of jail and get back to my car and, you know, those things. And it probably kind of hurt me a little bit as well, you know, overall, because I probably could have did some different things if I had went through another juvenile course. Mm-hmm. Being that I was a kid, you know what I'm saying, thinking I was grown, so it didn't work out that way, though. You know, I kind of bucked that and got out on that situation and jumped right back in my whip and got back right to it.
So you already dropped out of school by this time?
I was going to school. Yeah, I was going to Southeast. I went back to school. But like I said, I wasn't productive in school. Like school, it wasn't no productivity in school. I was just attending there. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't. In fact, we moved to Grandview home. I promise you, my stepmom Mary put me in Grandview. She took me up there, put me in there. You know, I'm coming from Southeast, and I go in this school at a Chevy, Days and Vogues. I'm bagging up in the parking lot, puffing on my demonstration backwood. And while I look down, I look back up, it's a Grandview PD in front of the car. Man, I'm talking, listen, you talking about scare me half to death. People talking about, do you go here? I hurry up, got out of that car and went Grandview.
So what was it like in Grandview? You coming from Southeast to Grandview, so what's it like out there?
Man, listen, it wasn't nothing like Southeast. We in the halls, we in the classroom, we kicking it, it's turned up. But I went to Grandview, you talking about none of that going on. I couldn't take it. I drove back down to Southeast and rolled back down. I went to Grandview probably about 4 days. I couldn't take it. I should have stayed, right? Because I probably would have learned something. It would have probably forced me to, you know, to at least try. Mm-hmm. But man, I couldn't do it, man. That mentality I had, I couldn't do it. But when I look back, I be saying that was another mistake I probably made in life. That probably would have compelled me to, clean my act up a little bit, you know.
Same shit was going on in Grandview. All you had to do was just find it.
Yeah, see, but the patience wasn't there for that.
All you had to do was pull out the clover leaf.
Yeah, pull out the clover. Hey, for real, we didn't live far, and it was action out there, right? But them people telling me to pull my pants up and all this stuff. I'm like, man, I ain't got time for all that. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Let me do me. I'm cool. They talking about, you walk to the hall, they talking about pull your pants up, straighten all the stuff that's, mannerism. But, I ain't had none, so I didn't see it that way.
Straight up.
So, I complained and went on back down to Southeast, man, with them hoodlums.
Did you go all the way to the 12th?
Nah, no. Actually, I went to Central Summer School and did 11th grade English and actually passed and got in, was going to junior. Going to the junior year, I want to say, when, that was 2000. I got shot in both my legs at that time in August. I got shot in both my legs in August, and from that point on, I ain't never stepped a foot back in no school. I was 17.
So at this time, was your neighborhood and down by Central, it wasn't no issues or nothing going on?
No, when I was going to summer school, you had like certain little situations, but it wasn't no hell of an extent. Dudes had they issues, growing up. People feel how they feel. And when I went to summer school, I spoke to dudes. Dudes spoke to me, and a couple of them was in school with me. Everything was kosher. We was cool, but sometimes that mind frame, that youthful, that eager, when you don't have no way to direct your energy and you don't have no vision and no type of guidance, any little thing can kind of like lead to lead you off road. You know what I mean? So at that time, everything was smooth. Everybody was cool. But not shortly afterwards, you know what I'm saying?